I almost had an crash. Let me talk about it. So let's talk about the car. This is a Volkswagen up exclamation mark, clocking in at 950 kilograms. This fun-sized piece of German engineering drives the front wheels with a whopping 59 horsepower. Now what happened was, I was taking a lovely left turn, and you'll probably be seeing some kind of dramatic recreation of it here, because I did have it on dash cam, but I think my dash cam was out of storage because this is from like 2016 or something, so it has a maximum storage capacity of 32 gigabytes. But essentially what happened was, I was taking a left turn, I had some friends as passengers, it was a lovely time, I was taking them for a little drive, and I took a turn, understeered, and all four wheels are on the other side of the road. Now, you'll probably not call me very dramatic if I say that that was scary as hell. So this is just kind of a little reflection on what went wrong and how I can basically not do that again. If there was a car on the other side of the road, it would have hit here, it would have hit this quarter panel, and okay, I'm sure Volkswagen have wonderful engineers, but you know, there's no physical size to be a crash structure, so you'll understand if that was slightly scary, okay? Now, I do apologize. I know I sound ill. I am ill, but subscribe anyway. I'm actually going to be try-harding YouTube. All right, this is a brand new channel, and we're going to see what happens. Just subscribe to the channel, join the movement, get your here before 10 subscribers. Kudos, and we'll continue. So we are now coming up to a lovely 60 road, which I am quite familiar with, okay? I'm quite familiar with this road. So really, why on earth would I be getting this wrong? Now I can take that corner at 60 quite comfortably. Now I can take that corner as well quite comfortably at 60. However, this corner, you cannot take at 60 in this car, okay? To get into some detail as to why you cannot take that corner at 60 miles an hour, much less in this car, we got to talk about a few things. Firstly, you're going uphill, which I was not thinking about, right? You're going uphill, which means your suspension is, your car is doing this, it's leaning back, which means less weight is on the front tires, which means you have less grip, which I didn't think about because I'm a dumbass. Furthermore, even though the surface was dry, it was not like this. It is not a perfectly well-packed surface. It is slightly gravelly, which gives you even less grip. Furthermore, it is a blind corner, which means you'd have to be a complete moron, AKA me, to do that at 60 miles an hour. When you get dangerous understeer, possibly one of the first things you want to do is blame the drivetrain, okay? Front wheel drive likes to understeer. You know, understeer, what happens? You know, you ask for steering, the car doesn't give you the steering. Oh shit, you go in a straight line and hit a tree. To add to that, with this being a tiny baby little budget German car, the tires are not performance tires, all right? We're on Michelin cross climates. You know, they're not bad, they'll get you there, and you know, they're not budget tires, but they're also not performance tires, and more importantly, they are skinny, all right? These tires, I believe they're 1/6/5s, the width, which that's not a lot of tire. relative to the car you probably drive, that's basically a bike wheel, all right? We weren't off to a good start. Now, something else to note is that my car, I am used to driving my car when it weighs whatever the curb weight is, right? Plus me. It was not that, all right? It was the curb weight plus 3 friends. Now that makes a minor difference, but when you're at the limit, you know, an extra 150 kilos that you didn't really think about, that's gonna do a lot, right? 150, 170, whatever kilos, right? That's gonna do more than you expected, because mass, inertia, shit like that. Do you remember high school physics, right? It wants to go in a straight line, which means you need more energy to overcome. Yeah, you need more energy to take it in a not straight line. And that energy and force and whatever, all that stuff, that goes to the tires, which means the tires get overwhelmed quicker, which means you need to drive slower, which I did not do. Furthermore, because I was trying to reach 60, because I thought I could do the corner at 60, because I misremembered that I could do the corner at 60, I was trying to reach 60, which means I was accelerating as well as going uphill, which means not only is the suspension doing this from going uphill, it's doing this from accelerating at the same time. So yes, it was silly. That's a very silly thing to do. However, all that said, with all the excuses in the world, all that would not have happened if I was not trying to impress people. And that is the moral of this story. You know, not only, you know, car control, don't take that corner at 60, that's the corner, right? Don't take that at 60, that's just stupid, right? But that's a secondary effect from the first stupid thing I was doing, which is trying to impress people. Don't do that, right? Okay, impress people within your limits. If your limits are impressive, then people will be impressed. People are not impressed by seeing the traction control warning light, okay? Especially when you did not expect it to come on, right? So beyond the physics factor of 3 friends in the car, meaning an extra, you know, 150 kilos at least, right? 150, 170 kilos. Beyond the physical factor, there is the social factor, and that is the most important, right? If I was driving that road, as I have done so many times, if I was driving that road by myself, I wouldn't have done that, because that's silly. So take that lesson and don't be silly, and subscribe, and give me all your money and your firstborn child. Much love.